What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the Champions League group stage draw analysis video. In this video I will talk about the chances of the Liverpool going through to the knockout stage, and also we will analyze all the Champions League groups. And this is a remarkable group stage draw because I never before do I remember not one, not two, but three groups that could be called group of death. Absolutely insane. Liverpool are drawn with Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli and Crvena Zvezda, the Serbian champions. And I think Liverpool will find it hard, but I still feel that Liverpool, who are a lot stronger than last season, shall I say, where we went to the Champions League final, I think that Liverpool will go through in either first or in second place. But check out this group: Barcelona, Tottenham, Internazionale and PSV Eindhoven. Another group of death, and anybody's guess which two teams will go through. PSV are, I think, stronger than in the previous years, but Barcelona, Tottenham, Inter, they are all world-class teams, and I expected actually the Inter to go through to the knockout stages, but not after them being drawn in this group. And the Group H: Juventus, Manchester United, Valencia and Young Boys of Switzerland, the Swiss champions. Another group of death. Ronaldo goes back to Old Trafford, Pogba goes back to Juventus, to Torino, to Turin, shall I say, and Valencia, who finished in I think fourth place in the Spanish league. They are also a lot stronger than in previous years. So let me know what do you think about the group stage. And the fourth group could be also called the group of death: Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, Monaco and Club Brugge. That is also a brutal group, very difficult. But then you have a group which is very balanced: the Lokomotiv Moscow, Porto, Schalke and Galatasaray. Compare that group to, for example, Tottenham's group or Liverpool's group or Man United's group, and you see how big differences there are in the group stage draws. So let's talk about Liverpool's group. I think it's good that Liverpool play against different teams this year, even though I really wanted to get Real Madrid in the group stage so we get to face them twice more and we could maybe get revenge. By the way, what do you think about Sergio Ramos tapping Salah on the shoulder on his way back to his seat after collecting the best defender award? I thought that was a really disgraceful, scummy thing to do. He actually tapped the shoulder that Salah hurt during the Champions League final when Ramos wrestled him into the ground, and he should have been sent off for that. And Ramos also elbowed Karius in the face, and Ramos is just a really like a cheating scum of a person to do these kind of things, and then you have the cheek to do that in the Champions League draw. It's just very low by Sergio Ramos. I didn't like Real Madrid and Sergio Ramos in particular before, but now I really hate them, and I really want to hopefully face Real Madrid in the knockout stages and knock them out. But let's talk about the Liverpool group. So Paris Saint-Germain, I think they are a very strong team, and especially we have to look out for Mbappe. But what I'm also hoping for is that Liverpool can exploit the weaknesses that are in Paris Saint-Germain, because they don't have the strongest of defense. They are great going forward, but defensively I think they are suspect, and especially with their fullbacks bomb really high up forward. And Liverpool, I think, will have a lot of joy, you know, behind with the spaces that Paris Saint-Germain leave behind their fullbacks. Napoli, another very strong team, but I think they are a little bit weaker than last year. They lost one of their best midfielders, Jorginho, and Napoli, we beat them 5-0 in pre-season. You shouldn't take you know, too many conclusions from that game because it was pre-season, but on paper Liverpool should be stronger than Napoli. But especially the away games, Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli, those will be really tough tests, and this is exactly what Jurgen Klopp's need and what Jurgen Klopp's team need to develop further. I think Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli and Napoli will show any weakness that Liverpool have, And I think it's better to you know, play these kind of teams in the group stage, and maybe you can address those weaknesses in the January transfer window. I think keeping Virgil van Dijk, Alisson fit, both of them fit, for as long as possible is key, because with Liverpool have one of their best defenses, not only in the Premier League but even in Europe. I don't know how strong Crvena Zvezda are. They are the first Serbian team since Partizan Belgrade made it to the Champions League in 2010-2011. So that was I think they haven't even played in the Champions League since the European Cup was renamed the Champions League. But I think they won the Champions League, the European Cup before in their history. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they will have a ferocious atmosphere. And I actually live just 380 kilometers from Belgrade, where the match is taking place. So let me know, guys, would you be interested in me going to Belgrade and watching a Crvena Zvezda Liverpool match? That would be just an amazing road trip and also an incredible atmosphere. I already watched Liverpool play here in Hungary when they were playing the Hungarian champions Debrecen in like 2011, I think. So I would love to go down there. The big question is, can I get tickets? I will see when the game is and I will find that out. I will try to get to the game. It would be an amazing road trip and I would make a lot of videos around that. But let me know if you would be interested in that. Let me know if you would support that. But let's talk about the other groups. So Group A, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, Monaco and Club Brugge. It would be a huge shock if Atletico Madrid and Dortmund didn't go through. The final will be in the Atletico Madrid's new stadium, the Wanda Metropolitano, which has a 68,000 you know, seater stadium. So Atletico and Dortmund are huge favorites, but Dortmund are actually a lot weaker than in previous years. They still need to sign a striker, in my opinion. They still have like 1 day to do so. The transfer window slams shut tomorrow night. Monaco looks like a lot weaker. They sold a lot of their top talents. For example, Thomas Lemar went to Atletico Madrid, so that's an interesting subplot in that group. And Club Brugge, the Belgian champions, they didn't really do well recently in the Champions League, so I will be interested to find out who actually goes through to the Europa League. I think Atletico and Dortmund will go through, but Monaco, if they have a good day and Dortmund have a day off, Monaco could go through from this one. Barcelona, Tottenham, PSV Eindhoven and Inter. Honestly, it's very hard to call this group, even though I'm leaning towards Barcelona and Tottenham, but many experts are saying that Internazionale have the best squad in the Serie A behind Juventus. So they have the second best squad in the Serie A, even though they haven't shown that yet because they only collected like 1 point from the first 2 games in the Serie A. But once that squad gels and that starting 11 gets settled, I think it will be a very good team. And I expect big things from Internazionale, but they have one hell of a job to do. I mean, Barcelona and Tottenham already well settled, established starting 11s, and I actually expect Tottenham to give Barcelona 2 very hard games. Remember that Tottenham finished ahead of Real Madrid last year, and now they get Barcelona. And the big question is, will the Tottenham Stadium be ready in time? We already talked about Liverpool's group. I expect Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool to go through and Napoli to finish in 3rd place. That's my prediction, but anything can happen in that one. The Group D, very hard to call. Lokomotiv Moscow, Porto, Schalke, Galatasaray. I think Schalke and Porto will go through. That's my prediction, but Lokomotiv Moscow are also a pretty strong team, and in Moscow the conditions could be very harsh. Galatasaray, also a very strong team. They just recently won 6-0 in the Turkish league game, so that wouldn't be a huge surprise if they went through. Group E, we haven't talked about this one yet. Bayern, Benfica, Ajax and AEK Athens. And I'm really gutted because the Hungarian champions VDFC almost knocked out AEK. They really were in the fight until the last minute, but in the end AEK Athens went through, and it actually is a very easy group for Bayern. I expect them to win this group by landslide, and then it will be between Benfica and Ajax who goes through from this one, so it will be interesting. And Man City, the luckiest of English sides, they get Shakhtar Donetsk, Lyon and Hoffenheim. Those are on paper not on the same level as Man City, but I actually expect Man City to have a hard time, especially against Hoffenheim and Shakhtar Donetsk. Lyon look like a little bit weaker than last year. They lost recently to a newly promoted side, Reims. So it's going to be probably a walk in the park for Manchester City if they take the group seriously. Group G, Real Madrid, Roma, CSKA Moscow and Pilsen. Looks like a pretty straightforward group, but CSKA Moscow could cause an upset if they really play out of their skin against Roma. I expect Real Madrid to go through. Real Madrid have a pretty easy group, let's be honest. I mean, and Pilsen, the Czech champions, will have a very hard time against these teams. Juventus, Man United, Valencia and Young Boys. I actually expect Man United to crash out of the group stage. As harsh as that sounds, I think Man United are a shadow of the team that won the Premier League under Sir Alex Ferguson, and they are in right old mess with Jose Mourinho this season already. And Valencia, they are a stronger team than the Sevilla team were last year, where they knocked out Man United. I mean last season, when they knocked out Man United. So I expect Man United to really struggle. And Ronaldo against his former club, that will be a fascinating encounter. And I wonder what kind of reaction he will get at Old Trafford. I'm sure that he will get a positive reaction, but let's see. If Ronaldo knocks out Man United, let's see if the Man United fans will still love him as much as they do now. So that is my analysis and my predictions for the Champions League group stage draw. So I expect Juventus and actually Valencia to go through. Let me know what you think about the Champions League draw in the comments below, and thanks for watching guys. See you later. Goodbye.